You're watching Newsfeed AM. Let's give you the markets update now. The JSE facing higher Asian markets on Friday, despite U.S. markets ending lower overnight. Simon Brown is JustOneLap founder and joins us now for a quick update on the markets at the JSE. Simon, good morning to you, and I haven't spoken to you in this new year, so Happy New Year. Give us your quick overview of how the markets have performed overall this week. Any factors that could have influenced trade for the upswing or weaker?
Paulie, we're trading up. I mean, we're actually trading at all-time highs for our index, which absolutely no one's going to argue with that. We've got the top 40 over 74,000 points, the all share over 80,000 points. We're only up 1% for the week, however, and notwithstanding it is all-time highs. It's been a bit of a slow ground this week. The big data point was that inflation number earlier in the week, and then late last week was an update from Richmond on Friday, which is carried through to this week. And Richmond's just such a large part of our market. It's about 18% of the total market. So that's really helped boost us as well. Rand has been trading weaker. We're at 17.26 as we speak. It had been below 17, but that inflation number and probably some load shedding also hasn't helped the currency at all.
Yeah, let's talk commodities. Gold prices trading at near 8-month highs. What's driving the market moves there?
So gold really is trading at 1,931.5 right now. And gold is the inflation story. Importantly, in developed markets, we've seen the highest inflation in generations, going back to the 80s. Japan this morning had an inflation number 4%. Might seem low, but the highest inflation number in Japan since 1991. And although gold responds to inflation, it's what we call late cycle. In other words, inflation runs, even starts to come back a bit, and at that point, gold starts to respond. So gold really is that inflation story, folks looking for some sort of safety for their money because it won't get decayed by the higher inflation. We're seeing globally here as well.
Let's talk company news. EOH, the rights issue, it's now been given the green light. We know that this company has been facing some headwinds. Is there potential for the share price to recover?
There is potential, probably. The rights issue will go effective for shareholders on Tuesday next week as the market closes. It's going to be massive dilution. And what I mean is your stake in the company, because of that rights issue, either you put more money in or you have a smaller slice of the whole EOH. But to your point, they've kind of righted the business. Stephen van Collier has really got it working again. He's got rid of the troubles. He's got rid of businesses that weren't core to them. He's got the staff back on track. So it's well positioned post the rights issue to recover. The problem is that the market has memory. And a lot of folks will remember the stock at 180 Rand back in 2014, 2015. They look at it at 3 Rand now, and they've experienced pain. They've had losses from it. So I think operationally, the company is going to be much better. I think the share price might take a little bit longer before it starts to really gain some traction. But it is I think we can chalk it up to one of the few successful turnarounds on our market.
Interesting indeed. Let's conclude the conversation with analysts, Simon, who are still weighing in on the MTN and Ghana saga. Some people say that this is MTN's potential 13 billion rand tax bill in Ghana as something that they've called a shakedown of a multinational company by a cash-strapped government. What's your analysis of the situation here?
Well, it's always hard to tell. I mean, and MTN is not new to this. Most famously, the Nigerian one, some 7 or 8, 9 years ago, which was a $5 billion fine. My sense is that there's usually, where there's enough smoke, and there is smoke here, there is a fire of some sort. And what we've seen MultiChoice have these issues, and the rest of the continent as well, is that first number which gets put on the table is almost an opening position for negotiation. negotiation, and then a whole lot happens in the background, and usually something does end up being paid. A lot less than that initial number. How much is it just a good old-fashioned shakedown? You mentioned, Ghana's been defaulting on some of its debt. That's always difficult to tell. But my sense is there's often something there which gives the country sort of some leverage to negotiate the fine. And then it's really about the quantum of it. And that invariably gives us better insight. I don't think it's going to be the numbers that we're looking at. It'll likely be a lot smaller, and it typically takes a while. It'll be late this year or early into next year before we really see something out of it. It is one of the challenges of doing business in markets such as Ghana and Nigeria.
Simon Brown, thank you very much for that markets analysis. He is the founder of JustOneLap, giving us a quick run of how things are shaping up at the JSE.